Hello friends, welcome to Think Electronic Circuits. In today's video, we are showing you how to code with timer using CMSIS core. So in this video, I will be explaining you how to do timer calculations and code according to it. I will not be using any library to code. I will be just using CMSIS core to generate the project, and I will be coding on the register basis. So let's start. This is the code written. The viewer who have joined late, please see my earlier 2 videos. So let's proceed. In this code, we are generating an interrupt, actually an update interrupt using timer, and when this update interrupt is generated, the LED is toggled. And how we are doing so, let us proceed and see in the code. So I am this statement, what it does, it just creates a pointer of name clock to the structure RCC type dev. For seeing what is this RCC type dev, let's click on it, select it, and go to definition. So it is not working, so again try, go to definition. So it is here. This is a structures variable which have all, and that structure have all its members which are member of the RCC control and reset block. So its work is, the structures element are generally those structures which can set the value of clock for the MCU and its peripherals. And this is for GPIO. This pointer GPIO is for accessing the GPIO registers, and this one time type def. This pointer timer is for accessing the registers of the three pointers as global. We have not put them locally but treated them as global. So go to definition. So it is the structure of timer which have timer variable, timer registers. So these are the registers. Let's go to our code again. So now we have created a pointer to RCC registers of name clock. So I will be assigning the address of RCC to the clock. So clock now have, after this statement, will have the RCC's address in the clock, and the GPIO will have address of GPIO A pin, A port in this, after this statement. So why are we using GPIO A? GPIO A has the pin of the LED which will be used for we will be using for blinking. We will blink the LED which is on PA5 pin actually. So this is a timer 2, which is 32-bit timer, and we will copy its address into the timer pointer, and this is for setting the actually clearing the value of CR register of the reset and control block. And we are now setting the pin, setting the register's 16th bit, and by this we are just enabling the HSE clock to the whole MCU. So whole MCU's clock is only HSE, that is the crystal clock coming out of from 8 MHz crystal. And this statement, as we studied earlier, is for checking if the clock is set by the crystal. And only when the clock is set, then the control goes to the other statements, all the statements, and this just register CFGR. We are resetting its value here in this statement, and here CFGR is configured to A0 value. That means, as studied, we have already stated in the video, it will just put the value as 1 MHz. It will put the MCU's clock frequency as 1 MHz. And this statement for resetting the AHB to ENR register, this one for enabling the port A. The port A have the LED pin as already stated. The port A pin have pin A5 that have the LED on the STM32 Nucleo board. This one APB1, the timer 2 is connected to this clock. So let us have a see where is timer 2 getting clock from in the diagram. This is one is the block diagram of STM32L476. So let's see where is timer 2. So as we can see, timer 2 is here. This one is the timer 2. And where it is getting clock from, let's see. This is APB1 clock. It is actually APB1 bus, so the register will have same name as APB1. So let's search APB1 ENR. B1 and NOR 1. It is searching. So let's just not any register, so let's search for it again. This one we are looking for. Look, peripheral APB1 peripheral clock enable register. It will enable the clock of APB1. So as timer 2 is there, so look at this bit, timer 2 enable. So if we set this value to 1, it will enable the timer 2, and we will be able to, after that we will be able to update the timer after it is overflown. The LED will be able to blink. This is setting the NVIC in the NVIC table. We are just setting timer 2 update, timer 2 interrupt, update interrupt. We're passing its parameter and it will just set in the NVIC table. And these registers, these are 3 registers of the timer. Actually 4 are there, these 4 and one more is here, that is CR1. So let's know how we are calculating the timer update frequency and how we are giving value to each register. So this is timer count register of timer 2. It will with each increment of clock it will count its value from 0 to 1. This is prescaler value. It is actually the clock divider and its output is given to timer clock. So if we divide it by 2 and suppose we are getting 1 MHz as frequency from MCU, then we will get 500 kilohertz as timer frequency. And the value of timer frequency not only depends on prescaler value but also on ARR value. After you get the prescaler value, you just put the prescaler value and get a timer clock. Then up to this value the timer counts. Actually, to calculate the frequency you can use this formula: timer PSC prescaler value plus 1 into ARR plus 1. So this value, according to this formula, the timer update frequency is generated. So for this value, what update frequency we are getting? Let's calculate. So if we are getting 1 MHz, that is 1 MHz frequency divided by prescaler value is 0, so 0 plus 1 and the error value is this one plus 1. So the value we are getting will be 1 into 'So this will be around 1, that is in hertz. So you will get a 1 hertz update frequency from timer 2 if you put these two values, prescaler and ARR, in their respective places. This is the other, let's go to other statements. Timer dir1 equal to 0, 1. So this register LSB, the lowest significant bit, is for just setting the, actually enabling the interrupt, the timer update interrupt. So whenever it when the timer overflows, then the other register, the SR register, as we can see here, its bit is set. Its bit is set, and we need to clear it by this statement. We're actually clearing its last bit. So again the interrupt enables, and again the timer counts till it overflows, and when it overflows it comes in this piece of code, and these all statements are executed. And lastly, talking about this CR1, this statement actually what it does, this statement simply runs the timer.